Hello, everyone, and welcome to GBF1 for night 7 of Season 7. We're here for the Singaporean Grand Prix, followed later on by the Dutch Grand Prix. We're currently watching Lewis Craig, who is in third place provisionally in qualifying with just over 8 minutes to go. It's currently Kieran in the Alpine leading the way on a 27.9. The only driver in the 27s and in the 28s. He's absolutely storming the field early on in the qualifying session with Casper still to set a real representative lap time. You'd imagine he can do a bit better than that. We will quickly get the stream shared on the Twitter and then we'll run through kind of what's been happening over the last few weeks as we've not been on stream. So obviously a couple of weeks ago at Canada we had some chaos, which meant the stream was banned for a couple of weeks so the standards could get picked up. And they've picked up over the last 2 weeks that we have missed. And Lewis Craig now flying through the first sector. And that is just over 1.5 tenths up of improvement in his Aston Martin. Poor season for Lewis this year. He's been struggling in the early races with the reverse grid. He sort of found his feet in Silverstone with the podium finish. And he finished 5th in Hungary but was disqualified after not stopping on those wet tyres. But a good night overall in terms of pace and performance. You'd imagine Lewis can keep improving. Obviously 8th in the Drivers' Championship, 88 points. Past the halfway stage, you'd imagine Lewis to be better off. But it's been a tough old season for the Aston, and he's got to keep pushing before the Gran Turismo season starts in March. Lewis now into the third sector, into the tricky part of the track, avoid the curves on the left, very squirrely at that back end, just wanted to spin that car, he manages to hang on to it, but that might be his improvement out the window, still improves by 1.5 tenths of a second, but not enough to move on to the front row of the grid, and Casper on a lap. We'll stick with Casper as we run through their top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. Jenga Boy leads the way on 190 points after winning the Grand Prix in Great Britain last week. Casper chasing him on 161 points, 21 9-point gap. A lot more to climb for Casper. Chess Games is in third, she's on 155, bit of a gap to her teammate Deck on 115. Then Jordan's in fifth on 113. Scottish Goat is the last of the 100-point club on 102 points. And Casper has actually been blocked there. Is that Hijab or yeah, it was Hijab that's blocked him. So Jenga Boy's teammate Casper now has a 5-place grid penalty. So chaos for the Kick Sauber and his hopes of winning the championship. I don't really think that was meant by the teammate of Jenga Boy. Unfortunate situation there, but Chris Johnson, race winner in Spain this season in 7th, 96 points. Lewis, as we mentioned, on 88, followed by Daniel on 85, with Baza rounding up the top 10 on 61. So inside the top 10, other than Scottish Goat's the only driver inside the top 10 this season that has not won a race in GBF1. An interesting fact for you. Cam K-Mam, this is his first appearance on stream since joining the league full time. He's invalidated his lap. Bevesser joined tonight, a reserve, just a one-off appearance at the moment. So welcome to him. I think he's the first Polish driver, if I'm not mistaken, to join the league. Apologies if that's wrong. No, you've got 16 drivers in the lobby tonight. I think someone's joined since we got going. I think that might have been Acorn, which is Deck. Best your top 5, Kieran, 27, only driver inside the 28s or the 27s. Then you've got Jenga Boy, Lewis Craig in third, getting wheeled back into the pits. Jess Ball in fourth. Sorry, Professor. Yep, I knew that was wrong. I'm thinking of Arthur from DGP. Professor's in fifth. Casper sixth with a 5-play penalty. Cam K in seventh, has invalidated though. Scottish Goat in 8th in the Haas. Good season for Scottish Goat. He had a podium at Azerbaijan that was so close to a win that Casper just snuck away from him in the end. And that is Deck up into 7th place. 4th in the Drivers' Championship. Good lap from Deck. Can he get closer to the top 6? Is anyone else on a lap time? I think Jordan on a lap. Is Hijab on a lap? Hijab's further round. Had the incident with Casper earlier on in the session. We have been hearing it's wet conditions for the race. Maybe that's why drivers are struggling to get into the top 10, top 28 second mark. Running some wet setups. Maybe Kieran going for the dry setup. Getting first and then hold up the field. It's a bit easier to overtake around Singapore now with the new track layout, I feel. The job is improving. Should get him into the top 10 this lap as it stands. Not got much left to go of the 4.9 kilometre circuit here in Singapore. Obviously the race lap record set by Lewis Hamilton, 33.8. Can anyone beat that? Hijab does in qualifying. It's a 30.2. It's 10th place. As we get set to begin the final runs, Scottish Goat Jo Mac 10 is on his final run of this session in the Haas. A lot of speculation in the paddock from his peers that he is the best driver we've got to not win a race. Plenty of drivers over the last few weeks. Well, not the last few weeks, sorry. Only one or two drivers have won over the last few weeks. Over the last few seasons have won, though. Ryan Berry, Chris Johnson, Baza, Deck, Tony. Plenty of opportunity in recent seasons. Casper this season, especially in the middle part of this season, has absolutely romped the field. It's something like 5 and 6, with Jenga Boy being the only other driver to win. Scottish Goat not improving though through the second sector, so it needs a big final sector from the Scottish driver. Car 69, one of two 69s we've got on the grid. He's in 9th place now, 30.2. He'll be wanting to get into the 29s. He'll be feeling that he is quick enough to get into the 29s, but it's all about consistency, which is lacked over the last few weeks. What will it be for Jo? It is into the 29s, but it's only P9. He invalidated actually, and I missed that. So where did he invalidate his lap? He will not improve. Hijab, I think Casper's the furthest round now. That is on a competitive lap. Or maybe Jenga Boy. Sorry, no, Jenga Boy, not Jenga Boy. It's Casper Klein. Next up, I think Jess has just begun her lap. There's a car ahead that might just be starting a lap. We'll see if anyone improves. I think that's someone just starting a lap. Casper now on provisional pole, 27.8. So it's going to be 6th place for Casper at best tonight with that 5th place grid penalty. Kieran starting his lap. Jenga Boy in sector 2. I think there's some cars further round though, is there? We'll stick with Jenga Boy, the championship leader, 29 points. Now this is a real opportunity for him to take advantage. Casper got tangled up with his teammate, Hijab, and that is meaning that even though Casper's on provisional pole, he is going to be in 6th place as the best he'll start tonight. Can Jenga Boy make that one worse? And if he can win this race, and Casper at least finishing 2nd, if he can get ahead, Jenga Boy, then it's a 7-point advantage. He's clipped the wall there. Round the final couple of corners, Jenga Boy will go. It's looking pretty okay. It's only 3rd. Quickest though. Into the 28s, but it wasn't enough. I think Lewis is further ahead than Jess. Now this would really ruin Jenga Boy's night if Lewis Craig can get ahead. But if he can get ahead of Casper, then he'd be happy with that. Only 4th quickest for Lewis. Jess now improving by 4 tenths of a second. Only 4 tenths of a second, no, not enough. Bevesser's getting a toe off Cam K. Is this going to be enough for the McLaren? Yeah, he's corrected me. I was wrong. He is not Polish. It's Arthur I'm thinking of that was Polish that raced back when Dipom had the TGV2 broadcast rights. So I'm sorry for that, Sylvan. Bevesser though, 6th place. Can he get any higher than that on his first ever DBF1 qualifying? Round the final 2 corners in my McLaren. 3rd place, and he gets ahead of the championship leader. That is massive. Kieran didn't improve. Chris Johnson. Round the final couple of corners now goes Chris. He goes 9th quickest. Gamer James in the pits, and that's qualifying. So it's Casper on provisional pole, but it's Kieran that will start the race in 1st place. Bevesser will be on the front row of the grid in his first ever qualifying. Jenga Boy in 4th, Lewis Craig 5th, Jessica Ball in 6th. Daniel Pupil and Nat and Cam K. Mam 7th and 8th. Chris Johnson 9th. Acorn rounds out the top 10. A disappointed Scottish Goat down in 11th. Hijab and James 12th and 13th. Jordan 14th, you'll be disappointed. Baza 15th and then Kaya 16th. I think Baza will be disappointed with that. I think he quite likes Singapore if I'm not mistaken, but Baza won't be too impressed with that. So, contacting qualifying. Casper and Hijab, the teammate of Jenga Boy in the championship fight, means that Casper will start 6th. Interesting to see what will happen when we find out. Hijab has a 5 place grid penalty as well. And those cannot be removed, unfortunately. So the drivers have to stick with him. Obviously, you cannot ready up on the grid until Baza gives the go-ahead in the Discord chat. You don't want to be given the penalty. 4 place grid drop for starting early. And yeah, there is the wet conditions that we were promised in the group chat. And as we wait for Baza to give the go-ahead, and the drivers, obviously Lewis Craig disqualified in Hungary for not stopping in the wet conditions, so you must stop, drivers, remember. And everyone on the field has to stop. Lewis was caught out by that last week. Even if it goes from wet to dry, you'd probably stop anyway, or if it stays full wet, you must stop. As we just get the final preparations in order, drivers getting prepared, coming up with a strategy. Now that the wet conditions, we're hearing some drivers are preparing the slick tyres, so we'll have to wait and see if that's true. It does look like the rain is coming down. Whether or not it's intermediates or dries, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's going to be wet and then we get some dry tyres fairly quickly with the rain going away, or maybe it'll be the opposite. Maybe we start on the dry compounds and then have to adjust the strategies and get onto the intermediates. But difficult to begin a race on dry tyres in the wet conditions. As long as we don't get any Valtteri Bottas 10-pin bowling into turn 1, we should be okay. Baza has given us the go-ahead, so we're ready to go racing. We should get that 30-second countdown timer in a couple of moments. And we are on the grid now. It's Professor and Kieran on the front row here in Singapore in the wet. Oh, and people have jumped the start. What's happened there? It looks like Professor and Jessica Ball have jumped the start. Kieran gets away well. Jenga Boy as well. The two Kick Cybers are sliding like crazy. Casper is up into 5th place. He's made up a position on Jess. His teammate Cam K struggling in the wet conditions as well. I think everyone's on the wet compound. We'll wait and see. Cam K now down the inside of Jessica Ball, who's on the intermediates. And they all get away clean. So, Bavesar drive through, Jessica Ball drive through. This is not what Jenga Boy would have been wanting in terms of Casper having to get through the field. But the all important thing is now that Bavesar will have to move out the way within 3 laps. It's only Kieran ahead of him now. He needs to keep Lewis behind. We'll get the tyre compounds up. So it's wet compounds for your race leader Bavesar, then Kieran, who's chasing him down in that pink and blue lovely Alpine in second on the wets. Jenga Boy on the wets as well, your championship leader. Then there's Lewis Craig in the Aston, 1.3 advantage to Casper Klein, who's on the intermediate compound. He's the first of 4. Then Jess behind, who's got the drive-through. So Casper might struggle in this early phase. He's losing time as Kamke gets down the inside, coming off the Anderson Bridge. So it's a Kick Cyber 5th and 6th, and here comes Lewis Craig and Jenga Boy. It looked like we're close, but maybe not as close as the camera makes out. Yeah, so Casper 1.5, losing time to the top 4. This might be the sort of phase in this race in the intermediates that Casper just needs to survive, and then once that sort of line dries up, he might be able to close in the gap, and he's already closing in the gap on Lewis. 1.1 now that Casper's getting into the groove of it. Hijab's picked up a time penalty. Jess is serving her drive-through as she tries to get into the box. She lost so much time just getting into the pits. It's so wet out there, especially on those intermediates. Very hard to manage. Jessica Ball, though, serving her drive-through. Bavesar will be up next, but maybe not before Kieran gets past. Whoa, big slide for the Alpine out of turn 4. No DRS to his advantage. He's just straight line speed. Who's got more downforce on the car? Looks like Kieran for the moment, not able to get past. Maybe that tank slapper stopped him as Jenga Boy now into the groove within a half a second. Doing his best to get past and control the gap. Lewis Craig maintaining the gap to Casper at 1.2 seconds. He's losing time to the top 3, but with Bavesar dropping out the top 3 fairly soon, he'll probably be happy with another podium, and if he can keep that gap to Casper, he'll be quite happy with that. Looks like Scottish Goat and Acorn making moves. Then you got Chris Johnson on the back of Jordan. Chris Johnson, a race winner this season. Gamer James in 12th, and it looks like that's it. Jessica Ball so far behind now with the drive-through, and that chance of winning the championship might have just faded tonight. That might be the championship hopes of the Red Bull fading away against Jenga Boy and Casper. She's been so good this season, picking up 2 wins, and it's just all faded away off the start. It'll be interesting to see her start and Bavesar's. Bavesar probably going to have to serve his penalty within the next 2 laps, so it will be the next lap for Bavesar to serve. He sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Then Lewis Craig goes fastest. Well, he's got some pace, and then Casper goes quickest. So the intermediates now coming into their own. He's under a second on Lewis now as Acorn finally gets past Scottish Goat on the start-finish straight, and he's up into 8th place. Hijab has picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So the drive-through, the 5-place grid penalty, and then 13 seconds to his name, not the start he would have liked. And yeah, Bavesar and Jessica Ball's races now are practically over. They've got to do their drive-through and then stop, and then no safety cars basically gives them no chance of catching up. Kieran now right on the back of the race leader Bavesar, who's got to come into the pits or be disqualified. Jenga Boy close, Lewis and Casper as well. The top 5 are all so close to each other, and you got a big gap to Cam K starting to form. He's in a bit of his own world, but Daniel trying to keep it honest. 2.2 behind Acorn, closing up though. Kieran now off the Anderson Bridge, so close, but he's got to look in his wing mirrors as well, because the championship leader is here, and he can see Casper in his. Lewis Craig is going, is it defensive early? He's getting out of the spray, it looked like there. And Casper at the back of this 5 train, the grid penalty, putting him at the back of the field has made this very interesting. in the opening lap. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened to Casper with that sort of half spin he had at turn 1 in the intermediates. He's the only driver on Inters in the top 5. Bavesser now into the pits, so this top 5 will become a top 4, and that's basically his race done. So now Kieran leads the way from Jenga, from Lewis, from Casper. That is your top 4. And Casper is setting quickest lap after his quickest lap. Oh, Jenga Boy's had a bit of a moment coming out of turn 2. Chris Johnson's got a 10-second penalty for speeding. I definitely think it is time for the intermediates. I think they're the quicker tyre going off Casper's pace. But you need to get the intermediates to the end now. This is the luxury that Casper has. He went intermediates at the beginning, which means he can go 7 or 8 laps. He can go to halfway and swap. Whereas the top 3 really need to get to at least lap 7, and these might not be the quickest tyres to get to lap 7 on, and they might start burning up, and they might start rising in temperature, making it difficult, especially on a technical track like this. Lewis Craig either trying to get out of the spray or is struggling. You can see his rain light as we're on board with Casper, and the Aston Martin is just all over the racetrack, and that might be the moment that Casper's looking for. Lewis goes a bit deep, coming off the Anderson Bridge. Casper gets a good run, and it looks like Casper could be going around the outside here. Lewis will defend the position. Casper tries to do the switchback. He'll get a better run. We're on board with a Kick-Sauber now, and if he got the straight line speed, which he does not, Lewis Craig very good on the traction. Once that car eventually got going, it was just so hard for Casper to get past, but Lewis in the corners is struggling. So maybe the downforce is where Lewis Craig is at. And now down the inside of the double right-hander. This would be incredible if he can do it, but he can't. Lewis hangs on. Great racing from the finish and the Scottish driver, and Lewis Craig defends beautifully. Casper was so brave and knew when to yield, and it might be only a matter of time before Lewis does eventually get passed by Casper. And Lewis, who's not involved in this title hunt like he has been in the previous season 6, where he probably would have been champion had he made every week. Casper now is trying to become the champion, and Lewis is doing all he can. It's 3 seconds now to the championship leader in second. And whether or not Lewis is trying to make the championship fight interesting, or whether or not he's trying to hang on to a podium, which you'd imagine he won't. He's got a lot of pride, does the Scotsman. He's doing everything to ruin Casper's night here in the wet in Singapore. 4.9 kilometre racetrack, and Casper has been stuck behind that Aston Martin for about 16 kilometres of it. Surely, oh, big lockup from Casper, and Lewis is just so slow through this section on the way. He's like, oh, it's surely intermediate time. The rain is practically gone now. And the drivers might be thinking, well, if we can get the wets to the switchover where it's slicks, and then Casper now surely down the inside can finally say goodbye to Lewis, but he's gone deep, and that might allow Lewis to come back up. We're on board with the Aston now. Does he have the straight line speed? He was using the overtake. Casper goes very defensive, and now it's Lewis's turn to look at Casper's Christmas tree light on the back of his Kick-Sauber. Finally got that move done. Is the race leader into the pits now? Kieran into the box as Jenga Boy hits the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So Lewis Craig laid down the marker. 4 seconds that gap. Lewis Craig in the pits now. Off come the wets. On go the enters for the Alpine. Now very slick for car 25. In and out service just as you like. Same for the Aston boys. On to the slicks for Lewis Craig. He goes now. So this is the phase in the Grand Prix we have to watch out for. Lap 6. The crossover point from wets to inters is now. You need to box if you're Jenga Boy on this lap. The end of this lap, you're 3.3 ahead of Casper Klein, your championship rival. Jess now is practically nullified. She's 8 seconds now adrift of Lewis and has to stop. This is where championships will be won and lost. We're on week 7. This is round 13 of 20. Casper is here till the remainder of the season. Jenga Boy is here till the remainder of the season. It's 29 points going into tonight. As it stands, It's currently 36 points going the way of Jenga Boy. Add the fastest lap, that'll make it 37 before we get to 6 rounds to go. 2.6 now. It is so time for this intermediate compound of tyres. Jenga Boy is 100% going to be into the pit lane, but the undercut will favour Jenga Boy compared to Casper when he comes out, and he'll have the fresher rubber, and then it's all about when does Casper box. Does Casper decide to follow Jenga in and go inters to the end as well? Or does Casper stay out and try hang on to the slicks and make everyone stop twice? If you're Jenga Boy, you've got to surely stop. No, he doesn't. And Casper now gets back round, and it's 1.5 that gap as he sets the fastest lap by 2 seconds quicker. He's 2 seconds a quick lap quicker than Jenga Boy. Is Jenga Boy thinking, I need to go as long as Casper? I need to battle Casper on the road, and that's where I can do the damage without actually causing Casper's car any damage. Kieran now out the pit lane on his out lap. He's about 20 seconds adrift of the top two. Looking good for Kieran to win this race. Lewis Craig is quite far behind. Hijab's got a 10-second time behind, so Hijab is surely going to get disqualified soon. Lewis Craig 7.8 behind Kieran. I think he dropped a lot in that battle to Casper. And Kieran, even though he's 2 seconds a lap slower though, to be fair. So Lewis, if he can get a move on, 31.7. It'll be interesting to see where Lewis comes out in comparison to the top two. Casper now is within a second, and this move should get done fairly soon. And the 37-point swing that is going the way of Jenga Boy will be swapping in a few moments' time. It's now 36 with Casper with the fastest lap. It will go down back to 29. Jenga Boy does come in. So Casper needs to get the pedal to the floor. He'll be getting the team radio message from his engineer to get the foot down and get this is the moment that matters. These are the laps that are crucial. It is push to overtake. It is push to overtake for Casper Klein. And someone that probably is the quickest we've got. He's on his way to the most poles. He's on his way to the most wins. A win tonight would put him 11, one behind the all-time chart of Damien Green Bean on 12. Obviously, Green Bean has got 14 wins if you include the testing races, which we don't do on the official chart. So he's one off the official wins list poll, and then if you tally up all the wins in Dive Bomb history, he's 3 behind. But Kieran now 21 seconds adrift of Casper. You'd imagine when the pit lane gets entered for Casper, Kieran should get back ahead. And Jenga Boy 5.7 adrift of Kieran, so he lost 4 seconds staying out this late. But maybe thinking the tyre advantage will come to him in the end. He'll have better intermediates come the end of the Grand Prix. Lewis Craig is catching. 5 seconds now. It was 5.7 when he came out. Jess Ball still to pit though. And then it's sort of the midfield battle that's closing up now. And Casper's setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Kieran's not really closing that gap. Yeah, Kieran now with the fastest lap, closing that gap by a second as Acorn closes up to Daniel with the time penalty on the Red Bull's car. Is he going to try go around the outside? Daniel squeezing him up against the wall, and he forces as they're, off the racetrack goes Acorn. Not much space left, and that might allow Jordan to get involved in the battle. It's Aston versus Red Bull versus Williams, and then the McLaren looking in the background, licking his lips in an opportunity to make a move. Oh, and Acorn tries to sneak it down the inside. That might allow Jordan to go around the outside. Jordan was very audacious trying to do that. And that might allow Bevesser down the inside, who I believe has stopped now. Round the outside goes Bevesser. And has he passed yet? Yeah, finally passed. Kieran now into the 20-second mark. 19.8. And I think it's a 24-second loss around Singapore. So he will be well and truly in the lead. But it's more about Jenga Boy, who's dropped another 2 seconds. Lewis has dropped 1.3. Drivers starting to struggle here in Singapore. And then Kieran's sitting in another purple sector. Casper's in now. So where is Kieran in comparison to him? We're watching Kieran now. We're on board. Should absolutely sail past, you'd imagine. Another fastest lap, 43.2. Yeah, miles ahead. And the hard work from Casper's paid off. He's ahead of Jenga Boy, 1.3 the gap. His tyres won't be as heated up though. So it was inters for kick. You'd imagine if Casper started on pole like he was meant to, he would have won. But it's all about where he started for real. It was 6th place. He's up into 2nd now. He's 5.9 adrift with 7 laps remaining. 3 points. The gap is closing on this race. It's going from 29 to 26. And if you go by that math, Jenga Boy would be champion if he can keep these sort of gaps between now and the end of the season. 3 points gets Casper closer with 6 races to go. But not close enough. Oh, and Jenga Boy clips the wall there. That was a massive bash, and that could have ended his night right there if he wasn't careful. Kamke's closing up to Jess, who I think is still to stop on those inters. Maybe hanging on to a slicks coming out. She does need to stop though, unfortunately for her. Lewis Craig in a lonely, lonely world at the moment. Bevesser, Acorn and Jordan are not. They are all very close together, all within a second of each other. Daniel only 1.1 up the road as well. So it's get behind the Daniel P. Wheelnut train at the moment, the Season 5 runner-up. Won the Grand Prix in Imola through in Season 6. And he'll be part of the newly formed DBF2 campaign tier. We're bringing it back. Haven't raced an official Tier 2 league. We've done like the league in DBF1 while it's been running at the same time. We haven't done the actual tier itself since 2019. It's coming back though. Jessica Ball, the one and only, will be commentating over that come May. So if you want to sign up and get involved, if you've got the pace of the midfield in DBF1 and you want the chance at some wins and podiums and maybe a championship, make sure you get signed up. Everyone from 7th down on this list in the bar Jordan invited. You got a feel for Kamke a wee bit though. Here in 6th place, 1.1 behind Jess, but then he's 8 seconds adrift to Lewis, 10 seconds ahead. He's kind of caught in the crossfire of Tier 2 and Tier 1. Not quite quick enough to win, and too quick to win in DBF2. But he's been a good addition in the weeks that he's done. 4 races to his name. And he was disappointed that the streams were banned when he joined, but he's on stream now and we'll give him a bit of time. And we're glad to have him. Casper not closing in on Kieran here. Kieran's setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Casper responds. So that 3-second point gap, that is getting clawed in is becoming 4. So Jenga Boy really needs to pick up the fastest lap, or needs Kieran to kind of trade with Casper and get it himself. Lewis now needs a penalty for the guys ahead to have a chance at the podium. He's got good pace, Lewis, but it's not quite podium pace here at Singapore. But then he was saying in the chat that he was quite happy with a top 10 finish, and he's been well and truly head and shoulders above the midfield, but just not quite enough as the second stint began to close in. Gave Casper an honest run for his money though. And he'll be proud of what he achieves if he can hang on to P4. These three are still at it in Bevesser, Acorn and Jordan. Bevesser now going to try go round the outside. Acorn's never going to leave you room round there. And he doesn't. We've got more chance getting on the bus age 24 with a 22-year-old's bus pass than getting round the outside of Acorn around one of those corners. Two-time race winner in dive bomb deck. Could have been free in Australia last season, but it just faded away from him. Got involved with some contact with Darky. I suppose it was taken away from him, not really faded away from him. Kamke now on the back of Jessica Ball, who's obviously still got to stop. I'm pretty sure she's still got to stop. Yeah, she's the only driver still to stop. So she's going to drop a few places. Unless she's just going to take the disqualification, maybe, now that she knows her championship hunt's over. She must be hanging on for a miracle that it dries up and she can go into slicks. That has to be the plan. Casper now starting to lose time again to Kieran. It's 5.6. James is retired from the session. Kamke gets past Jess now into turn 5. And is anyone in that midfield going to make a move? Acorn and Bevesser battling, is losing time to Daniel P. wheeling it up ahead. And James DNF'd unfortunately in the pit lane and dropped him out of the points, which is quite a disappointment. I was about to say Jenga Boy picks up a penalty, but Lewis is 15 seconds adrift, so it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And I think, let's clip the ball again, Jenga Boy. I think if you're honest, if you come into this race and you're told, right, you're going to lose 4 points of your 29-point lead at Singapore to Casper, I think you'd be okay with that. You have the opportunity at Zandvoort for a good result. After that, you've got more races coming. You've got the 50% at Monza, which would probably favour someone like Casper with a race in that distance. But then there's more opportunity to make mistakes. Jenga Boy has been quite doom and gloom about his title hopes now that Casper's so close. But I think he's got a real shot at this, and he's only losing 4 points as it stands. Might be different if Casper, in these last 2.5 laps, can sort of steal a win away from Kieran. But these are the sort of races Jenga Boy's got to take advantage of. He's third. Maybe stayed out 2 laps too late. At the end of the day, 4 points. You've got week 8, which is 2 races, week 10, which is 2 races, then week 9's Monza, which is 50%, which will obviously be different points. The top 20 will all score points. in Monza for the 50% race. Casper now is setting fastest lap after fastest lap, and what this does is it puts him within that sort of range where if Kieran feels the pressure and picks up a penalty, Casper's within striking distance. He knew that he definitely knows he's not going to close and win this race within 3.4 seconds. The gap is too big with 2 laps to go on the penultimate lap here, as Casper actually gains time through Sector 1 on Casper. See how close he is in this shot. Casper is there, but it's just not enough. And I tell you what, if you think about it, as Jess comes into the pits now, if you think about it, Lewis Craig battling the way he did cost Casper 3.5 seconds. Casper's 3.5 seconds behind Kieran. That battle with Lewis might be what cost Casper this Grand Prix. It might give Kieran his first win in DBF1 and a new champion, or not a new champion, sorry, a new race winner's name that we have to engrave onto the statue, into the history book. And with Spielberg coming up next week, will etch history. This is 89 Grand Prix for Baza. It will be 99 at Zandvoort. 1 week to go until race 100 for Baza. The Welshman, our host, our legend, it's 2.3. 1 lap to go here in Singapore. It's been wet and dark and gloomy all night, and I'm not talking about the night race, I'm talking about the clouds. 1 lap to go now. Kieran is 2.5 ahead. And all he's got to do is not pick up a penalty to win the Singaporean Grand Prix and take his first win, his maiden win in Dive Bomb Sports. Casper Klein is chasing. He was on provisional pole, was the Sauber. He got a 5th place grid penalty in qualifying. He started 6th. He had a bad start and he ended up cutting his way through the field after the poor start. He got close. He got up to the Aston Martin of Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig defended for his life. And when it came to the pit stops, it was perfect from both teams, Alpine and Sauber. But it might just be the Alpine that comes in for the win. And I'm just going through the history books. I'm trying to find something. This might be the first ever Alpine win we have in Dive Bomb. We do keep track of the team stats in the league. So all the teams have statistics from their seasons. As Kieran now is getting so close. He's about to come round the final couple of corners now for his maiden DBF1 victory. Kieran sets off the fireworks in Singapore. Casper comes home in P2. Jenga Boy will get on the podium in a race that surely matters to his title hopes, only losing 4 points. Lewis Craig is going to come home in 4th place. Eventually, he's 22 seconds adrift. You can hear the fireworks. He does cross the line in 4th for the Alpine. And it's Cam K in 5th. Daniel Pirilna. It's a long night for him. It's going to be, you'd imagine, 6th place. Yeah, definitely. Look at the battling back here. Professor and Jordan battling on the final lap to try and sneak places. Daniel is going to come round and finish in 6th. Acorn will lose out on, look how close it is from 7th to 12th. DBF2 will be very entertaining. It's Professor in 7th place, Jordan in 8th, Baza 9th, Scottish Goat 10th, Jess in 11th, Acorn drops all the way to 12th. Chris in 13th, and Kaya, when he gets round, will pick up the final points paying position. And then we've got Hijab and James not scoring and have DNFs. But it's this man, for the first time in DBF1 history, he wins a Grand Prix. For the first time in DBF1 history, Alpine have won a Grand Prix. There was a couple of seasons where we didn't even have any Alpine drivers. But it's finally happened. Alpine have picked up a win. Kieran, another Scotsman winning in DBF1, which is always great to see considering the league is the Scottish heritage. Fantastic Singaporean Grand Prix. And just like last season, Jessica's title hopes faded in Singapore with internet connection issues, and they failed her tonight again. Her issues, they've come again. Singapore, they say lightning doesn't strike twice, but it surely has for Jess. And you'd imagine now that's her out of this title battle. It's those two on the podium spraying the race winner Kieran. Jenga Boy third, Casper second, Kieran on the top step. And what sort of title fight would we have had if he was in for the whole season? So that is your Singaporean Grand Prix results. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you are going to go catch your breath in the next moments, because we've got Zandvoort short qualifying coming up in a few moments. And we'll have a bit of a break. We're going to have a 17th driver. Chris is going to join Alpine teammate to Kieran. So we'll have two Alpines and we'll have 17 runners. And then I'll catch you when we get going in qualifying in Zandvoort. So we're back for the Dutch Grand Prix. We're here in short qualifying, 18 minutes, and all the drivers in the pits getting their setups on, adjusting the fuel. I think I can see a Williams race engineer getting ready to drop his car of Kaya. Yep, we've got a few of them coming out now. We're getting ready to see some qualifying laps. Yeah, loads of cars getting out onto the track now. So this is race 14 of 19. I mean, I've said 20 in the first race. I apologise for that. I forgot that week 9, the penultimate week of the season, we've got 50% Grand Prix. Only one race that night around Monza, where obviously last season we did that. CJH did the one stop compared to everyone else's two stop, and then picked up the win. So we'll have to see who can manage the tyres best around Monza in a few weeks' time. But it's all about Zandvoort this time. We have got Chris in the Alpine, who made his debut in DBF1 last week around Silverstone. And then we've got a returning driver in the Ferrari, Cam, car number 3. He hasn't raced in DBF1 since F1 2019. So it's been a while for Cam as he's battling away with one of the Mercedes. I think Casper is just about starting up. No, it looks like it's Kamke that's furthest ahead. So we're on board with Kamke Mam, who dips onto the grass and spins. So we'll know be watching his qualifying lap. We'll watch, is Jess on a lap? Yeah, we'll watch Jessica Ball, third in the Drivers' Championship. Recovery driver in Singapore, her title hopes for the second season running, dashing in Singapore. It was internet issues in season 6. Don't know what made her jump the start in season 7 earlier on tonight, but she is now through the swooping long right-hander, avoid that curve on the left-hand side, get the car rotated in third gear, get onto the acceleration, get back off, brake ever so slightly, avoid all these curbs, get open on the DRS, and she'll sail down the mini straight with the advantage of DRS. With it being the first lap, it will be the fastest, so she'll be on provisional pole. It might only be for a matter of seconds though. She's got Lewis Craig chasing her. The Red Bull driver, impressive again. She was obviously the season 37 champion of TGP2 when Dibon was broadcasting. She was very impressive in her season debut in DBF1 in season 6. Is a 6.99. Lewis smashes it with a 9.6. Lewis does have some impressive pace around Zandvoort and has won here before in TGP and in Dive Bomb. So we expect good things from Lewis Craig. Acorn makes it a Red Bull 2-3. Casper goes 5 tenths quicker though than Lewis provisionally in the 9s though, which is interesting to see. And Kieran goes into the 8s. What a lap that is from Kieran. 8-8. He is showing that he is competitive and wants the opportunity as Cam goes third quickest. Just slower, 16 thousandths of a second slower than Casper Klein. So that tells you how quick he is returning after about 7 years after his last DBF1 race, and that will break the record. I think Vitinho's was the longest, which was 1,400 days between Grand Prix, and Cam's going to absolutely smash that tonight. Daniel qualified 8th, and then Stu Williams make it an 8th and 9th, and I've still got different liveries, which is so annoying. Jenga Boy up next. Goes 4th quickest. He's so close to those guys. A 9-1. He's putting himself down a lot in the Discord. Jenga Boy. He is well and truly involved in this battle with those top 3. And Hijab, his teammate as well. Yeah, he goes quicker than Lewis. So the Racing Bulls in terms of constructors doing a good job. Is anyone else on the lap? I think Professor might be the next sort of quick driver you'd imagine would be up top. Started on the front row in Singapore. What will it be in Zandvoort? 7th quickest in the 9s, so not bad. Quicker than Jess. I think he'll have some improvement in his locker that he can do. And that is your first runs of qualifying here in Zandvoort. Is anyone else on a lap, really? I don't think so. Jordan is going quicker because he's on the mediums. We'll stick with Jordan as it seems he's on a run. But that is your first set of runs done. Everyone in the pits refreshing and getting organised for a second bite of the cherry. Jordan's on his second bite of the cherry right now. He's 2 temps up through the first 2 sectors. And he improved by 6.5 temps. And is 11th, just 3.5 temps off Chris, for a place in the top 10. Chris will be coming back into the pits, you'd imagine. So we'll see what Jordan does in his sector 1 split time, if it's improvement or not. Running none, so I imagine it won't be. Yeah, he's a second up. So it's Jess that's next. She'll begin her lap in a couple of mo's. And 11 minutes to go. Only one driver in the 1 minute 8 so far. And it's setting up to be an interesting qualifying with Cam entering the fray, making that sort of 3-way battle a 4-way battle now. And hopefully Cam doesn't get involved in any incidents. We don't want him returning and then causing too much drama and then race drama. Here comes Jessica Ball now. In gear 8, she'll get all the way down into third, rotate the car, avoid the entry and exit curve using overtake as much as she can. Might have costed a wee bit of traction, but we'll pick up the speed quickly. And now, as we head up the banking and down and up through the big S's, sort of mini S section, Jess now improving just about. Not much of an improvement, and she's fairly quick in 7th gear through the start of sector 2 now, through the swooping rights. Avoid all these curves, you don't want to touch any of them or you're going to get spun into a frenzy. And she does just so. Opens DRS in overtake, pushing and pushing down the mini back straight, where everyone can see her through the stadium section, driving Max Verstappen's car, supporting her to the Red Bull fans all the best they can, pushing her through the stadium section now. It's all down to her through here though, double right-hander. Don't spin the car like Kamke did. And she doesn't, she tracks it perfectly. What will it be? Into the podium, 7th place, the best though, only 1.5 tenth improvement. Casper Klein now improving round the final corner. He's next up of the front runners. You'd imagine this will be a provisional pole time, and it is. It's an 8.5, 3.5 temps quicker than Kieran. I think Cam is not improving on his time. This is his quickest run. He's matching it perfectly, 1,000th of a second slower. Oh, and he dips the wheels in the grass, and that is his run over and coming into the pits. Kieran improving through the first. What will he improve by in the second? Not enough at the moment to get ahead and back on provisional pole. Yellow flags in sector 1. I think that's a car moving out the way. I think it's a jab. Here is Kieran though through the stadium section. Got a bit of traffic up ahead, but we'll just have to wait and see through the right-hander. He's taking the curbs that Jess wasn't brave enough to take. Maybe that is why Kieran has got a bit more speed. Well, what will it be for Kieran? It is improvement, but not enough to take pole back. So Casper leading the marker down. Lewis Craig up next. Not improving. Who's quite far round? Kamke not improving. Is Scottish Goat improving on his time? We'll have to wait and see. Round the final, he's not pushing at all. And he's dipped the wheels in the grass. Daniel improving, but I think there's others further round. Looks like Chris is improving, so we'll check Chris. On his run up to the line, and it's 4 times improvement, but not enough to make up a place. I think Lewis is now the next best on offer. He's got an Alpine just up the road of Chris, and I think Chris isn't improving. Oh, a big tank slapper for Lewis, but I think that was him more coming into the pit lane. Is Kieran on a lap? No, I don't think. Yeah, Kieran's not on a lap. Jenga Boy, maybe just starting a lap here. We'll stick with him and see. Looks like he's pushing. So, we're on board with the championship leader. 25-point lead with 5 to go. He's already losing out in this qualifying session. Casper Klein leading the way through qualifying. Now Jenga Boy in 7th gear. Does he stick to what Jess was doing with 7th? No, he drops into 6th. Back up into 7th, you'd imagine. No, he's staying in 6th place. Seems to be a lot smoother as well. Down into 3rd for the Racing Bulls driver. And that just seemed a lot smoother than Jess's. And that was 6th gear compared to her 7th the whole way through. Fastest through the 2nd sector. Whether or not that's true, we'll have to wait and see. Not improving by enough to take provisional pole, though, is Jenga Boy. We'll see what his run up to the line will be like. He takes so much more curb than anyone else we've seen so far on the night. Here he is now. Jenga Boy improves just, but still only for 1,000th of a second slower than Calm. Wow. Just wow. But Vesser's crashed. Acorn, I think, is on a lap, and that is kind of everyone else is on out laps. A 10th improvement. So he's going to be going into the 9s. Can he get anywhere near his teammate? Deck has played the ultimate team game a few times this season. He did in Singapore. He did in Australia to help Jess pick up the win. He is well and truly doing everything he can to help the Red Bull team out. But is he going to help himself out here? Improves, but not enough to overtake Jess. Lewis on an outlap. Chris on an outlap. And a Calm K beginning his lap now. We've seen him have the spin. He's not spun this time. 329 kilometres per hour down the main straight. The main overtaking opportunity into turn 1 of this Grand Prix. Into 5th. 5 place good penalty for Chris for illegal blocking. That would have been a Lewis. And now Kamke, the American driver, pushing his way through the first sector. Surely an improvement for him. It's been a much better lap, and it is. Around about 2.5 times. Very quick. Now, does he stick with a 6th gear like Jenga Boy does? He does, yeah. So I think Jess is missing a trick there through that part of sector 2. He is back up into 4th, then 5th, back down to 4th. Gets the car rotated early on the ERS, early on the DRS. Gets the throttle down, nice traction, brake at the 75 metre mark. And this is now 4 times the improvement. And this is looking like a lap that might challenge Jess for around about 7th to 8th place. Even Lewis Craig might be in a bit of danger here, but Lewis has started his lap. Jordan up into 6th place, a 9.6. Kamke into 5th. What a lap that is from Kamke in the second kick Sauber. I think Cam is on a lap here. No, he's losing out time. So there's Lewis Craig now, who's got the Alpine right behind him, and Lewis is 3 seconds down. So maybe going again. Chris picked up the 5th place for illegal blocking, which I think was on Lewis, given how close they are on track to each other. We'll stick with Chris though and see. Coming round to the final couple of corners now is Alpine driver in his 2nd ever race. Maybe a lack of experience got him caught up with Lewis. Comes into the pits, and Baz is just beginning his lap. Kaya not improving. I think Lewis Craig is starting his lap now, so we'll watch the Aston. The driver has been confident about his ability as Zandvoort, and rightly so. He's fairly quick around here, that he's proved in the past. And it's a fairly clean sector 1. We'll see what his split time is in a couple of moments. Not improving. So that first sector must have been a good one, because that looks smooth from Lewis. Obviously been playing a lot of Gran Turismo. Whether or not that's in preparation for the Gran Turismo Season 2 coming your way on Wednesdays at 7:30 when the completion of DBF1 begins, so make sure you join that. Lewis Craig, though, not improving again through the second sector. He's not improving on this lap time, so this might be the best that Lewis has to offer because there's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and having to do 2 laps on his softs, he might have a problem with this. He might have had more wear, he might have lost the concentration. Yeah, he's so close to improving, but it's just not enough. Baz, I think, was next, was he? He's just gotten a 1 second improvement. That's still not enough to get into the top 15. Yes, Baz will be disappointed with that. Casper looks like starting his lap. His final go at this. We'll see what the provisional pole sitter can do. He's got a Haas in his way though. Oh, did that cause him some drama? I'm not sure if that was Baz or Scottish Go. I think that was Scottish Go, who's on his outlap, just coming out of the pits. Oh, Casper will be so disappointed. Yeah, he stopped. Yeah. Does he have the fuel to go again? Oh, we'll stick with him because no one else is on a lap. Should get back round for another go at this, but he's just to save his battery, get his battery repackaged. There's a jab on a lap. Yeah, a jab's going to catch these guys before the end of the lap, possibly. And he's on a flyer, so they're going to have to move. If he gets there, they might be okay, actually. And we're seeing Lewis Craig on the team radio, not happy with the curbs on the team radio, giving it the curbs some grief, so it wasn't maybe the Alpine in the first lap, and then the curbs in the second, causing Lewis some issues. Eighth at best, though, for the Flying Scotsman. Here comes the jab now, round the final corner for his final goal here in qualifying. Is it going to be better than 6th place? 5th it is at the moment. He steals it away. I think Casper was next. Yeah, Casper's done. He's run out of fuel. He's so slow. Will stay just to make sure, but Besser goes up into 6th. Yeah, Casper's done. That is the best lap time he's got. Cam isn't going to improve on his time. It was an 8.7 though. Puts him onto the front row. Jenga Boy. 3.5 times up is Jenga Boy. This might be a provisional pole time here. Oh, and he spun the championship leader. He's put it in the wall. He spun on the curb. And oh, commentator's curse. I'm so sorry to Jenga. He's put it in the wall. And he was looking like at least on the front row. He's put it in the wall. And is the pressure of the championship getting to him? Oh, that's what he needed to have an opportunity. As Kamke now on the run up to the line only manages 6th. Kieran now is the best opportunity. He needs something to happen here. He needs Cam or Kieran to beat Casper for his title hopes. Kieran now only 3rd. Chris 15th. Baz is not improving. Casper didn't get a final go at it, but somehow snapped provisional pole. He had 2 final goals at it, Casper, but it just wasn't enough. And it turned out to be enough. Jenga Boy was 100% on for at least P2. It might not have been pole, but he just clipped the curb on the inside on the entry to the penultimate corner, and it just sent him into the wall. Oh, I'm so sorry for saying that was going to be at least a provisional pole time at the time. Cam and Kieran in the not in the championship hunt, but they're in the battle determining who's going to win this championship. And as much as Jenga Boy needs Casper not to win races, that might be a good thing having them two up there. Damage limitation is what he needs, but the opportunity to start in the front row alongside him has just slipped away, and that might just have caused him an issue. Later on in the season, Cam needs to remember or someone needs to tell Cam not to start until Baza says go, he'll pick up a 4-place penalty. So we've been given the go-ahead from Baza to get ready, so the 30-second countdown should be on the screen. Or I'll just do what I did last time and fling us onto the grid with the lights going on. As you see everyone in the F1 Paddock Club above the Zandvoort paddock celebrating, excited for this race to get going. Who will they be supporting? Who are you supporting? Let us know in the chat. Who's going to win this race? Is Casper going to claw into the gap? Or will Jenga Boy be able to extend it? We've got 5 red lights. It's Casper versus Cam off the line. Away we go in Zandvoort. Nobody jumps to start this time. Cam didn't get away too well, either did Kieran, and that allows a jab and Jenga Boy to pounce. Jenga Boy already up into P2 off the start. That's exactly what he needed after that qualifying. He needs to go and chase Casper now. He needs the best results he can get. Kieran's dropped all the way to 4th. We've got a McLaren of Bavessa in the background as well, battling away with Kamke. That's put Bavessa in the wall, and Bavessa's down the order. Bit of a moment for Kamke, not sure. Well, it definitely wasn't intentional. I think it's just had a bit of a swinging moment. So Casper leads from Jenga, from Cam, from Hijab, from Kieran. That is your top 5. Cam K, then Lewis, Jess, Acorn and Daniel round out the top 10. We'll get the tyres up and the completion of lap 1. Interesting start to the first lap. Bavessa all the way down in last place, and that might be him leaving the race. Casper now already 8 tenths of a second ahead of Jenga Boy. For the hopes of the title, Jenga Boy really needs to get past or finish second. If he can get away tonight with about a 10.11 point swing, he might be okay. The Gamer James has lost his car at the final corner. Top 8 on the mediums, Deck on the softs. Daniel Peewee on that Scottish coat and Baza on the hard, so we'll need to remember that. Yeah, James and Bavessa are looking to call it a day, or at least James is, on the in 17th. It's been a rough season for James. It's not been his fault really. He's been unlucky with incidents and crashes that are kind of out of his control, and it's a bit hard. I know from experience it's difficult. The league this season is so quick. As Cam is off into the gravel now, that promotes everyone. It's so difficult to maintain that sort of thrill and enjoyment and excitement when the league is so quick, but we don't want to only have 14 drivers when we have the ability to have 18. Obviously DBF2 in a couple of months' time beginning. James will be one of the quicker drivers in that, and you'd imagine James will be getting some decent points if he chooses to race, which I hope he does. And TBF1 just getting back to the pinnacle of how quick it was back in 2023, when you had the likes of Alistair Bain, Damien Green and Hambo, probably the quickest we ever had, Khalifa and Eric in 2019, and then the Matter, Speed Iceman, Speed Knighton back in 2020. It's always been a quick league. We went through the phase of the pace cap in 5, 6 as well, sort of picked up the pace a little bit, and then 7 is just, we've gotten back to being the pinnacle of F1 leagues. We want the best. And then if we can get a 2-tier functioning at the same time, that would be fantastic, but just not got the interest in it at the moment. But it is something we're striving towards, and 18 drivers, if we can get sort of 2 grids formed, that would be fantastic. 1.7 on the gap up front, Jengaboy to Casper, Carmen on it as well, 3 attempts now. Cam might be making a move here on Jengaboy, and he does so. That is up into second place, and now you might think that's a bad thing for Jenga, but he's obviously clearly not got the pace to keep up with Casper at this phase of this race. He has been able to keep up with Casper multiple times. I thought I heard Casper in the wall, but maybe Cam can close the gap and pull Jengaboy along with him, and with a jab there as well. You'd imagine a jab won't overtake Jengaboy because they're teammates in the battle for the title. But then maybe that's what Jengaboy needs. He's got the protection of a jab behind, and then if Cam can drag Jengaboy along, or even get Casper involved in a battle where Jengaboy can then close in himself, might be onto a winner and be able to try and get involved. Jess now on the back of Lewis, who's 2.9 adrift of the top 5, so Lewis struggling at the moment. And Jess for company will be trying to get past, and then you've got Daniel, Jordan and Scottish Goat battling away as well. Lewis Craig was very defensive very early on Jess. He goes back to the left hand side, so he can't move again if Jess goes down the inside. And hangs on to the position as Daniel and Acorn battling away again. It's soft versus hard. And on lap 5 already, and Daniel hanging on at the moment. Battling all night in Singapore, and they're battling all night again here in Zandvoort so far. Hijab right in the back of his teammate. He's got Keenan for company. Hijab is clearly quicker than his teammate at the moment of this phase. But it's just not worth overtaking him because he's in the title fight, and if he can keep Keenan behind, he's only losing 10 points to Casper instead of 12 and possibly 15. Jengaboy just needs to try and keep with the top 2 if he can, or try stay ahead of 3rd and 4th. 4th and 5th, sorry. DRS for Hijab, DRS for Kieran, and I think the run is just going to be too good. He's in the pits, as Jengaboy, early stop. So that'll be for a set of hards, doing something different, maybe trying to call out Cam and Casper, and think, well, I was only 1.5 behind, so hard to confound, I'll get them at the temperature, and I'll get the undercut and pick up the lead, and if you're going to win this race, you'll have to overtake me. See how it pans out. Your race winner last time at Kieran in 4th place. Three times adrift off a jab, and now maybe without the DRS assistance for that Racing Bull ahead, then maybe Kieran will find this a bit easier to get past as he starts saving the battery now for the overtaking opportunities. And now you'd imagine this should be an overtaking opportunity into turn 1 coming up in a few moments. He's very close. It's been 3.5 times this whole lap. We're on board now with the Alpine driver. And you can see how defenceless That Racing Bulls is. He moves to the right, goes back to left, so can't move again. And Kieran takes the podium. He obviously isn't on the net podium at the moment. He needs to get past Jenga Boy. Cam now within a second of Casper. And closing. Jenga Boy on those hards now behind Baza. 1.4, bit of dirty air and turbulence won't be helping. Baz obviously one of the better defenders in the league we've got, 99 Grand Prix. Tell you why. But he really needs to make quick work of this traffic to make this strategy work. We have that beautiful camera angle of the Alpine, and the Racing Bulls is now at Hajab, so he's got a wonderful run out the final corner there to get onto the back of the Alpine, and yeah, that's a slam dunk move. The Pakistani driver moves up into third place now. Jess Ball is past Blues, but that may be due to him stopping, and we'll see now. Mediums, off hard, on, serviced, in and out, and that is very quick from Aston Martin. They've been good at that all season. Lewis Craig unhappy on the team radio again. Saying the not so fast Scotsman after I called him the Flying Scotsman. Sorry, I missed. Kieran got back past Hijab. Not sure if that happened right at the beginning or recently into the end of Sector 1. Scottish Coat and Chris Johnson have battled away, and Scottish Coat has won. Jenga Boy past Baza and Chris now. Got 3 seconds to Chris Johnson, so he's got a bit of road to make the move. And sorry, I've missed the move for the lead. Cam has made a move in the final corner. Third and fourth are in the pits. Has Casper made a mistake there? He lost it very early onto the straight. And there's no point in playing DRS chicken there, it's too late. So I think Casper's made a mistake there. And it's dropped behind Cam, so net leader is Cam, and this helps out Jenga Boy massively. Jenga Boy back ahead of Kieran and Hijab, who's dropped all the way down because Chris has come out ahead, no behind Kieran. 1.4 is that gap now, so his tyres are a lot older. So I don't know if he's going to get past the top two. Might get involved with some of them battling, but Baz has had an off. At least it's race 99 and not race 100. That'll be Austria in the opening round next week. Will be his opening, his 100th Grand Prix. Acorn is retired in the pit lane, so called it a day. And here comes Casper though. Look at the closing speed, and Cam just later on the brakes. Left the space and was just the braver of the two. Casper didn't want to risk it. Championships to think about. And I think Cam has won a Grand Prix before in Dive Bomb, but let's just check the stats. Pretty sure Cam has won a Grand Prix back before, yonks ago, like absolutely ages ago. Maybe season 2 or season 1. Casper is really close though to the back of Cam. Might be going to make a move sooner rather than later. Cam has been in Dive Bomb, but he's never won. In the top two now, into the pit lane. Cam in and service. Kieran got past Jenga Boy, which isn't great for his Grand Prix. But the tyres might allow. Oh, and the Ferrari's behind. Casper got in and out before Cam. Kieran and Jenga are both. So, in terms of the title picture, this is absolutely massive. So it'll be a 1 point swing in Jenga Boy's favour on the night, but obviously you'd imagine Casper on the softs will get past. Jenga Boy will do everything he can to keep that kick behind, especially at this part of the racetrack. Now, if you think long term here, it's 3 points going in Jenga Boy's favour. Casper will get past, you'd imagine. That'll be 3 points going his way, and then Cam is involved as well. So you could only be losing 3 or 6 points instead of a big chunk if you can keep a hold of Casper behind and just let Kieran set off into the sunset. Or maybe Kieran will think, I'll keep Jenga Boy in my DRS, and if he can keep it clean through the first and second sector, he's got absolutely nothing to worry about. 2 attempts now. Casper's so close. But the DRS, is the DRS going to help? He's going to have to go the long way round if he's going to get past. Jenga Boy still on the inside. This is for the championship lead on the night, and he's gone a bit wide after being maybe a bit of a tongue slap and a bit of wheel banging, but he's only in 3rd place at the moment with Casper in 2nd. Now this is where it comes into it. Side of the right-hander and almost got away with it. That was almost a Casper-esque move. And now Cam going to try and go down the inside. He's defending it though, Jenga Boy, with everything he's got. And yeah, that's beautiful defence. Casper now though, looking to the lead of the Grand Prix. He really needs Kieran to do everything he can to hang on here. There's going to be 5 races after this one is over, and you want the gap to be as big as it possibly can between him and Casper Klein. Here though he goes for the lead of the Grand Prix. Kieran going to go back round the outside on the softs, but it's not enough. 10 points in favour of Casper on Jenga Boy at the moment. 14-point swing on the night with a 29-point lead. The gap is closing for the lead of the championship crazily quick. And now Cam and Jenga Boy are battling away. It's so close between the pair of them. And it looks like Cam might get the move, but Jenga Boy is trying his best. Round his and he spun, there's contact. And he's going to drop down behind his teammate. Is Lewis Craig? I think Lewis Craig's too far back. Get going again, Jenga. Get going again. Cam. Get the tyres back under. So he's lost 2 places. And you'll probably expect that one to go to the stewards, which means Cam might drop a couple of places if it was Cam's fault. And I'm not sure about Hijab, but we'll be thinking about, is he thinking about himself or the team? You might imagine that it's going to be 1-2, and that'll mean swap places. Obviously that might come into effect that Lewis and Jess are so close to Jenga Boy, they might not want to do that. But it's 2 points, sorry. And that 14 becoming 12 is massive. Cam's 2.5 now behind after the contact, and Kieran's falling out of DRS range, and this might be Casper going on for a win. Well, we've got 7 seasons of Dive Bomb. We're going to have a 7th different champion. We don't have a single champion on the grid tonight. So it's going to be a new champion. The only drivers in the hunt. Bavester sets the fastest lap and takes it away from Casper, which is needed. Get The only champion on the grid right now at the moment is Alistair, but everyone else is not racing. Be interesting to see what we decide going forward. Is a pace cap get brought back in? Do we maybe go back to alternate weeks like we did at the start of the season with Casper? Have to wait and see. Daniel Piwilna and Jordan are side by side through turn 1. Side by side they go, and this is fantastic driving from the pair of them. And it's Daniel Piwilna that wins out. Baz is in the pits for a 10-second pen for speeding. Just ball 3 times back on Lewis. Lewis 4.5 times back on Jenga. Kieran, no, not losing as much time as he originally was. The gap's back down to 3 temps now, closing up massively on the start-finish straight there. Must have a lot more straight-line speed than Casper. Casper running a bit more drag and downforce to let the car turn and rotate, maybe while he's making overtaking opportunities where he has done. Jenga boy now will be starting to think, alright Hijab, it's time to swap places here, mate. Three and a half times now on the back straight. In second, get the rotation, get on the power early. Up the gears into turn the penultimate corner, and here we go back up the hill past the grandstand for the start finish straight now. DRS get up to 330-ish kilometers an hour. Casper goes defensive, Kieran goes down the inside. They're battling away here for the lead of the Grand Prix, and Casper hangs on for now. Cam is well and truly in this fight as well now. Casper leads from Kieran, from Cam. That is your top 3 on the penultimate lap here. This race has absolutely flown by, unlike Singapore, that felt like it was on for an absolute age. That top 3, just so close, they could all be covered by a blanket, and now Cam is right on the back of Kieran. It looked like Kieran was close to making a move in the previous lap. This time it's all about Cam. But you'd imagine this is it now. Lap 18 about to begin. The 3 up front covered by less than 1 second. 1 overtaking opportunity left probably. Cam, Casper and Kieran. Who is going to win this Grand Prix? They're 3 wide into turn number 1, and Kieran's going round the outside of the Cyber. Cam's going round the outside of both of them. The camera angle is terrible. We can't see who's in the lead of the Grand Prix. It looks like it's Kieran leading. He's locked up. He's pushed Casper wide. Cam, can he get involved here? Looks like Casper's lost out to both, and he's going to be in 3rd place. Kieran leads from Cam, from Casper, who's going back down the inside of Cam. The Ferrari, the Kick and the Alpine, they're all 3 wide. And as Casper's had to yield, he's had to think about his championship. Kieran leads on the night that took his maiden win as Jess has passed Lewis. Casper now going back down the inside. Is he able to do it? No. Trying and trying. He's got a better run. He'll have some DRS and maybe a bit of battery. They're both into the grass. Cam's in the bottom. They've both crashed. They've both crashed. And if Cam wasn't in trouble with his stewards, it's going to be after that. They've both crashed on the final lap of the Grand Prix. And on the night that Kieran took his maiden win in Dive Bomb, Alpine took their maiden win. They've doubled it. They've played snap. Kieran wins both Grand Prix, and he done it clean. Cam will cross the line in second with Casper in third, but there'll be a stewards investigation for that. Hijab will cross the line in 4th. He doesn't help out his teammate, who finishes 5th. Jess 6th. Daniel Piwilna is 7th, but is expecting a penalty, so that'll be Jordan's place. Yeah. Scottish Goat looking to get 9th here. He gets 8th. Daniel gets 9th. Kamke will drop behind Lewis, I imagine. No, Lewis only 11th. Chris in 12th. Chris Johnson 13th. And Lewis has left the session, which has mucked up the standings. Thank you very much. Baza will come for 14th, it will be. Kaya and Bavesser. I just really hope before he rage quit that Casper got the footage. But what an extraordinary final lap. Kieran with 2 wins on the night. Double trouble for the Scotsman. Cam and Casper, well, that's a Stewards investigation coming your way. And it might be that Casper sticking onto the second row. And a bit shocked about the Racing Bulls. Hijab had the time to give the position to Jenga Boy in terms of the championship, but didn't give it up. And driver of the day went to Chris on the game, but that'll change. So Kieran won, Cam second with Casper third. That'll probably change. Hijab fourth. Didn't give up the place to his teammate, even though he had the time to, which was interesting between the teammates. Jess managed sixth. Jordan 7th, Scottish Goat 8th, Daniel 9th, Cam came on in 10th, I believe it was Lewis, then Chris, Baza, Bavesser, and Dark Shadow were the finishers. Lewis did finish but left. Gamer James and Acorn 1718 the only DNFers. But that's been your night in Dive Bomb. We've got some topics to discuss in the Shears Room tonight and tomorrow, and you'll get your championship results for tomorrow evening. And next week we've got Race 100 for Baza. Don't miss that. That'll be interesting to see, and a legend in himself. And we're always grateful for Baza for hosting these lobbies in the F1 scene for us. And fantastic for him to get that Race 100, the only driver to drive in all 7 Dive Bomb seasons, and just such an honour to have. We're so grateful for him, and obviously got his win in season 5, which we'll never stop talking about. But that's next week. We'll get the discussions on tonight. Make sure you check the Twitter for the outcomes. And I've been Jack Craig, and we'll see you all next week.